motivated us most is to see the fish growing really. When they gave them to us, they were small. They were the size of a white ant. The tilapia was like a white ant. Then the catfish was like this smallest finger.
Today we are down here to learn about fish farming in Njenje village, Goma, Mukono district. Fish farming is quite a science. You can go step by step and minimize losses and get the best out of fish farming. With us today is Juvik Farm to teach about fish farming and how they have been able to navigate the different challenges in the industry and yield the best out of this sector. With us is Madam Vicky to take us through the starting process of fish farming.
You are most welcome. Rich Harvest.
Yes, thank you.
Where you are here is Juvik Continental Agro Farm. We are based in Njenje village, Njenje parish, Goma division and Mukono district. Basically at Juvik Continental Agro Farm we have a number of projects as you can see them.
Yes.
But one of them is fish farming.
Yes.
With fish, we started slowly, of course. We started off with one pond. Initially, we did not have the idea of rearing fish, but we were using this pond for irrigation purposes for our vegetables and greenhouse. But when the district officials visited this farm, they saw the pond. It looked beautiful and it would be worth to put fish in there. So they advised us to expand it and put some fish. But we were a bit reluctant. They encouraged us. And indeed, they even promised to give us the starting fingerlings. So it was a motivating factor. We expanded our pond. We started working together with the district fisheries officer. He kept visiting us until we made our pond. Then they gave us the starting seed. They gave us 1,000 tilapia and 500 catfish. We put them together in the same pond. Initially they were saying you don't put them together, they will eat each other. For our case it was not like that. We put them there, they grew up together. They even gave us startup feed and we started off. For at least the first 4 months, we did not have a very big problem. Then after that, we started buying. Still, we were getting advice from the district fisheries officers. When we saw that was a good project, the fish was growing, we could wait and see that they are growing together, there's no big challenge. We were motivated to make other ponds.
Yes, I can see there are quite a number of ponds here.
We started expanding, but before that, in between there, we met some challenges. That time we were not residing here. We would leave our fish here and go, we were staying in Mukono. But some other people would come and enter into the pond, trying to check them, trying to see whether they are mature. Others would even steal them. Then the predators, we did not know all that. But that first pond was our classroom, their first classroom. So we learned a lot from that pond. What motivated us most is to see the fish growing really. When they gave them to us, they were small. They were the size of a white ant. The tilapia was like a white ant. Then the catfish was like this smallest finger. But after 4 months, they were growing big. After 6 months, you could see a fish. It is a real fish. So we said, okay, now this one can work. Another thing, we have water all through. So we started.
That is quite a story. So for someone out there who's watching the Rich Harvest show that would like to get started with fish farming, what would your advice be on the starting point?
Initially, we did not have the interest, but we were advised by the district officials. Yeah. The switch is the market. If you don't have ready market for your fish, you can get stranded. But for us, since we were working with the district officials, they started showing us where we can sell. Okay. You start from your home, the villages around. There are people who fry. They use what they call a karai. They put oil and they deep fry. People eat, people buy. So we saw there was ready market for that size of fish. The ready market was a motivating factor. So if someone wants to begin, must know the type of market she is targeting. Am I going to sell live fish? Am I going to sell smoked fish? Which size am I going to sell? And also when you are rearing, you must have a target. The size is your target. The weight is your target. Some people want fish which is 1 kilogram. Others want 500 grams, 750 grams. So you must know your target. My market, which size do they prefer? Do they prefer raw fish? Should I add value Can I smoke? Can I deep fry? Can I pack? So all those are factors. So if one has established the market in his own area, then I think that is a very good starting point. Second point, there must be source of water because fish grows in water. If you don't have a swamp area like we do, you should have water. Either it shouldn't be national water because you remember national water is treated. And that treated water does not go well with fish. It eats off its skin and it gets wounds. So you need natural water. You must have natural water. Either get it from the well, but should be circulating and running around. Then after getting water, then there must be constant food because these are things which you must feed every day. They are not like a cow which you take and it eats grass which grows naturally. You have to put the food there for the fish. If you have those three, you can start off. You need market, you need water, you need feeds. Then you need some knowledge. Then you move on.
So like she has said, if you get to know the type of market you have, that will lead you to the type of fish you can rear. Then you need a water source. Is any type of natural water compatible with fish farming?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
Not all the water is good for fish.
Okay.
When you make a pond, or if you dig a small pond in your farm and you let water settle, when that water turns red, or when it has those shiny things on top, that water has to be checked. You should take it for checking. Otherwise it has a lot of minerals, it has a lot of metals which may not favor your fish.
Where do then I take my water for testing?
There is a department for Ministry of Agriculture. So if you go to Kajansi, you can get people to help you test your water and they can give you the results. They will tell you whether it is suitable for fish farming, it's not suitable. If it is not suitable, what are you supposed to do? How can you clean it? Because even ours, perhaps it was not the best, but they came training us how to keep it clean, until...
So then after knowing those, after identifying my market and the type of fish that we are going to rear, what pond size do I use then?
Yeah, the pond size depends upon your choice. First of all, how big is your land? What portion have you allocated for fish farming? Because on your farm, you might be having a number of enterprises. And by the way, if you are a farmer, you cannot depend on fish alone. You need other enterprises. They complement each other. But if you are not doing fish farming alone entirely, time will come when you are stranded. Time will come when you are not selling fish, but you have to survive. You have to buy feed, you have to pay the workers. That means on your farm, you are supposed to have a number of enterprises, at least 3, which can complement your fish. So the portion you have allocated for fish will determine the number of fingerlings you should bring. For example, if you have a space like 2,000 square meters, in 2,000 square meters, you have to consider the harvest weight. At what weight am I going to harvest my fish? Is my market targeting 1.5 kilograms, 0.5 kilograms, 1 kilogram? Now we take an example of 0.5 kilogram. If you are going to harvest as half a kilo, I'm talking about tilapia now, not yet catfish, but tilapia, 0.5 kilograms. 2,000 square meters, because that is the size of my pond. I'm going to multiply it by 1.8. Then I divide that one by 0.5. 0.5 is my harvest weight. 1.8, that one is a standard. Then 2,000 square meters is the size of my pond. Because 2,000 square meters means length times width. You can have 100 by whatever to get that 2,000 square meters. But also deep, you should go not less than 1 meter deep, because when water is too shallow, it heats up quickly. Fish cannot survive there. It will survive, but much of its energy will be wasted. It will try to cool itself, to maintain its body, and will not grow. So you are going to lose.
So how deep are your ponds?
They are 1 meter. They are 3.5 feet. 3.5. But sometimes when the ground is rocky, we go 3 feet and we are there.
So what are some of the requirements the pond is supposed to have before we introduce our fish? Because I'm seeing some pipes and different materials.
The pond itself should be properly located or sited. You look at your land. If your land is slopey and you locate your pond down at the extreme end down, when it rains and all the runoff comes into your pond, the fish will die. because it will carry all the chaff into your pond. They will suffocate and you will die. So when you are siting your pond, make sure the runoff doesn't run through it. Or if there's a runoff, make sure you channel it away from your pond. Then that pond should have an inlet pipe and an outlet pipe. When you are making the pond, it should be slanting. You don't make it like a box. No. It has to be slanting. The upper part is wider, the bottom is smaller. So when we are measuring the spacing, we consider the lower part, not the upper one. Yeah, it is the lower part which gives us the meters. Then it has to slant. When it slants, that means the soil around on top will not fall in, because with the time, water keeps on eating off the soil. If it is not slanting, eventually it starts falling and blocking whatever you have put in there.